Simon with Assets and Arbitrage. Of course, we are a little bit late, and I'm sorry about that. Y'all know we have to hop from one thing to another, so we're sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just some stuff, we got to take care of business. That's what it is out here. But yes, we're here. We're here just a few minutes late, but we're here nonetheless to give you a great show. We hope that it's a great show, great information and things like that. Um, first of all, Aaron likes to wait for people to get in the room. Excuse me. But we can always start with be stacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be stacking your sats, be stacking your ounces, any other investments that you may have. Like we talked about in the last program, the benefits of your 401k, if you have one, employer match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be stacking in that, right? And all these things will come together, and you'll be sitting pretty. You'll be sitting very pretty. But yeah, that employer match is it's a little gem. It's a gem if you have the ability to use it. Please do so. Our show today is going to be a little different, I suppose. There's not much movement in the price of Bitcoin. Kind of right in that range. You know how that is. Now Bitcoin could do that little dance, you say.
Bitcoin dance.
And even gold and silver, there was nothing moving too much. Gold got pushed down a little bit.
He said y'all switch sides.
Oh, it did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And
that's only because we upstairs today. When we
I
downstairs, we sit the other way.
I wouldn't have noticed that, but okay. And gold and silver, I'm not doing much. Silver is up a little bit. Which is good. But we got low time preference, right? So price today doesn't really matter. Just keep on grabbing something if you can. What else was we going to talk about?
That's the only thing we talk about.
No,
what else are we going to talk about?
There's something I read and interesting, but man,
we hadn't talked about like 80 articles.
Well, I didn't. I wasn't going over the article. It was an interesting read. I can't
was
remember.
It Mastery?
No, I did read that again, but
it was about Bitcoin.
Yeah, it was something about Bitcoin. It was a real interesting read, but
is it in there?
I lost it, so I'm sorry, guys, but
he's so technologically not inclined. It's not funny.
Well, it was
ETF in Australia. He wants to know if that's it. He said, y'all switching sides. Is that a side to go along? No, it's not. It's the sign that we're upstairs instead of downstairs.
Go along, okay.
That's a sign. They're going to be making up stuff when we do certain things.
ETF in Australia, okay. I did hear about that. Oh, well, it might come back to me. I'd be getting.
But it's not in here?
Nah. Because I tried to close them out. It was like 15 open. I probably closed it out.
You trying to get more body on your illustrious hair?
No.
What is that? It's an ad for getting more illustrious body on your hair.
No, it's 8 habits of...
oh, it's just an ad? Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought maybe you was trying to grow your hair like the children. Okay. But I don't have this article. Do you want me to pull it up?
No, this article is pretty much comprehensive.
Oh, the one that I have up already?
Yeah. So really today, I guess we got enough people in the room. I can't see. Do you want to wait for a few more?
No, we got 16. 16 is close to 20. Yeah. But while we are waiting, my cousin who likes to do his handle in Arabic, I have no idea what that says. So I would love for you to tell me what your name is. But my cousin with the beautiful Arabic penmanship, thank you so much for joining us. BK Crypto was the one who started about switching sides. Cousin H is in the room.
What's up, Cousin H?
So there's no BK show Crypto? Like Simon Family Investment Ventures. They got me gladly, patiently waiting for a track to explode on. Oh, yeah. Let freedom ring. Our most diehard supporter. Like, I feel like we should send Let Freedom Ring like an award or a medal or something. Like a trophy.
Been in the game for a long time.
Since the single digits. My cousin with the beautiful Arabic handle. I'm talking about we switching sides. Cousin T. Willine. Hit that like button, good people.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, good cuz.
Hassan Malik. Oh, I can remember that. Sean's middle name is Malik.
Yeah,
So I can remember that. Hassan Malik.
Yes, indeed. All right, so we're just gonna make it simple today, but maybe not so simple. And I'll show you. And what we're gonna talk about.
Oh, he in homeschool mode, y'all.
No, what we're gonna talk about is what the Cantillon effect is and its relationship with Bitcoin.
He's in
So,
homeschool.
I would like to just ask the chat room with those who are posting. Are you guys familiar with the Cantillon effect?
Or knows what a cantillionaire is. Let's see what our chatters have to say. I wish I could give out something. If I was in the US, I could like overnight goodies and prizes and stuff like that. Mexico's terrible with their postal system. And Tino up to something, so I have to just keep my ear out, y'all. Because his brothers are at basketball practice and he's
Yes, it is.
tinkering.
Do you want to share the screen or you want me to just go in?
Okay, so Cousin Hassan say he is not familiar with the cotillionaire effect. L1L, hey, Cousin L, is not familiar with it. That's
Okay.
enough for us.
Okay, yeah. I just sometimes want to make sure I'm not wasting you all time by telling you things you already know. All right, so we'll go into what it is and how it correlates with Bitcoin.
And then, cousins, if y'all want to hop on with us like you'd like to, just let me know and I will send the link. Hold on a second. Wait. Freedom Ring said something. There was a guy on Swan Bitcoin who that was the article I asked him, like, do you want to share this one? He's got that Swan Bitcoin article.
Oh, okay.
So I thought he wanted to share that as well. We might, BK Crypto's also interested. So hold on to your hats, folks. It's very interesting. You want me to go ahead and read it?
Well, not from the top. We got to go from the middle. Where
do you want me to go?
What is this?
The relationship between Bitcoin and the Cantillon effect?
It's up at the top.
You just said not from the top.
Go down a little bit.
All you ladies who want a high value man, this is what you got to deal with.
So we got to start with what is the Cantillon effect. No, I'm pretty good with this one. So the Cantillon effect is an economic theory that describes how inflation of the money supply affects different groups in the country, in the economy, generating inequalities in the distribution of wealth. So this concept was proposed by an economist. He's a French economist named Richard Cantillon in the 18th century, and is relevant to understand how creation and distribution of new money impacts different sectors of the society. All right, so that's where we're going to start at right here. We're going to go more into that.
I think you should let me read it, though.
Yeah, if you read that one, please.
Because you got the computer. So it says, this theory explains that when new money is introduced into the economy, the new money is not distributed evenly. Instead, those who receive the new money first, our fellow cotillionaires, those who receive the new money first, such as banks and large financial institutions, benefit the most from having greater purchasing power before the prices rise. Just let me know when you want to get your insights and thoughts in there, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. For example, if a bank receives a newly created loan from the central bank, it can use that money to invest in financial assets before, they should have before in all caps, y'all, prices adjust to the increase in the money supply. As a result, these first recipients of the new money can obtain significant benefits, or, as I like to say, significant beneficial outcomes. Through investments that are valued in currency terms before, again, that should be in all caps, inflation influences prices.
Wow. So let's talk about what that means. So we're going to go over these 5 ways of how it actually goes through this. Monetary expansion.
So central banks increase the amount of money in circulation, usually through asset purchases or money printing, aka the magic checkbook.
So keep that in mind right there. Money printing. Last show, they are doing $1 trillion
per quarter.
$1 trillion per quarter. So that's a lot of money printing. Oh yeah.
Considering we can't even count to $1 trillion, yes.
Right.
Early profit. Banks and financial institutions which have direct access to central banks receive the new money first. Early bird gets that worm, don't it?
Yeah.
All right. Purchase of assets. The first to receive money can buy assets such as stocks, real estate, or any other valuable asset, i.e. Bitcoin. I love that they have that here, y'all. I'm just going to make that pink. It's my favorite color too. Before inflation raises their prices. So in a sense, they're getting to front run their investment.
Yes.
Before Joe Bag of Donuts, who got to work extra hours.
Mm-hmm. And see, the thing with that is, as we talked about before, like she said, front running. A lot of times people will have maybe they have an investment and they're waiting for an event that will give the investment a boost in price. But a lot of times the price is baked in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if people know what that means, but the price is baked in. It's already where it's going to be. So when something happens, you don't get that boost up that you thought you would. But see, these guys get the money first, and then they get to then invest in what they need to invest in
with the full purchasing power.
So
it's power. Like kind of like if this was a cell phone, they get the phone at 100% charge. Mm-hmm. And then by the time the phone get to us, it's like 5%. Yeah. It's just going to shut off. It don't even go down to 1, right? It just completely shuts off on us.
Yes, indeed. And so number 4, what's the price? Is the price increase.
As new money circulates through the economy, the prices of goods and services begin to rise. And number 5, the actual loss of purchasing power. Workers and savers, us, who receive the new money in the end, see their purchasing power decrease due to inflation.
Due to inflation. So, see, that's how it works. It's pretty simple, but it's very intricate the way they do it. So, the new money with the purchasing power is held on to and or used in their benefit.
As a matter of fact, cousins, I know a lot of you do like to have your notebooks, your pens, your notepads, your ThinkPads. For those of you who like to take notes, definitely take down 1 through 5. I'm going to leave that up there for you to see. And notice that in this particular article, they did add Bitcoin because financial institutions are making sure that they gobble up some daggone Bitcoin.
Yeah, before you get your chance to. And if you guys remember, and I'm sure you remember, during 2020 when they were giving out helicopter money, but they were also giving out loans.
I got helicopter money.
They was giving out loans, business loans, things like that. And then there was a big story about it. They were sitting on the business loans.
Oh yeah, Wells Fargo was.
Chase too.
Oh, I read that Wells Fargo was, but Chase okay, I imagine Tier 1 was sitting on the money.
Chase is was the high net worth.
The private wealth management banking.
Yeah, these guys are sitting on the loan money before they distribute it to you.
Because they get the interest, don't they?
Yeah, and so they're making you jump through hoops and go through all this, and
so that they can buy their time in order to accrue interest on the hundreds of millions, if not billions, of dollars with the PPP loan.
Yeah, PPP loan. They sat on it for a long time. Nobody was getting loans as soon as. Remember, there was a date. Boom, you apply for it. Nobody was getting them. Banks were sitting on them. They holding them. And when you talk about interest on hundreds of millions of dollars, you don't need anything but 1%, 2%.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was way more than that.
And that's what the banks do. They hold on to the money, and then they disseminate it to the public as debt. Right? And that's how we get our money, as debt. It's debt, right?
They're getting it in profit. We're getting it in debt. Mm-hmm. And that's why we were talking. I can't remember which cousin I was chatting with, but we were just talking about how anything created in debt cannot possibly be sustainable. Mm-hmm. It's impossible.
And one of the things that, it's a thing they say out here about the Black community having 1 point, I don't know, is it 4 trillion now?
Oh, the cousin's a fact check.
And somebody, who said it.
Umar
said it. It's more than the GDP of I think he said Rwanda. But gotta understand that a lot of that is debt. These are home loans, these are car loans, these are credit cards. Right. This isn't like 1.4 trillion
in disposable
cash money, right? All of it's debt. If you got a $300,000 house and the next man does too, that's kicking in, but you don't own that house, and you don't own that house outright. So it's not really $300,000 that you have. And they'll throw that number around and make you feel bad. They'll go into different sectors, like women buy this amount of hair.
And y'all eat that amount of grits.
Yeah, man. He was on one about the grits. Oh, I said, man, you tripping about the grits. And, so they do this to try to, like, misdirect you. To be honest,
I don't think he's doing it to misdirect.
No, not him, but people who throw that number
gotcha.
out there. Not him. I'm not saying he was doing that.
Yeah.
But don't let them make you feel bad. Like, oh man, we got all this wealth, and if we could just come together, we could be a small country. I mean, you're gonna come to a small country of debt. That's what it would be.
Come to a small country, they're gonna blow the hell up.
And so you gotta be careful about your debt in that regard.
I do want to read some of what the cousins were chatting about.
Yeah.
T. Willine said, if I laid on the ground on $1 trillion and $100 bills, it would cover, is it 39.92 square miles? I would think it would be longer than that, cousin.
Nah, square miles is different though. You thinking this?
Oh, okay. Oh, square miles. I'm thinking the square feet. Square miles, yeah, that sounds about right then.
That's gonna be a big deal.
Cousin T. Willine, when you get them $100 bills together, you invite us, right? So we can lay down with you. We can lay the $100 bills down with you, and then we can pick them back up when we're done. Our little experiment. L1L, another way of saying they take care of themselves first, and we get the leftovers. Yeah, we get the crappy battery.
And so what happens is, Aaron mentioned it, and Max Kaiser, I think, coined the term. He calls them Cantillionaires. And these are the people who sit close to the money printing and always get the money first. And we can name them. I mean, it's a lot of them.
But if you had access to sit at the printer, I would sit literally right next to the printer.
I'm not willing to
go and print them sheets off for me.
I'm not willing to do what they want me to do.
No, but, the Illuminati.
And somebody like Jamie Dimon, somebody sit right there by the printing press. You know what you think?
Mm-hmm.
Who else could we name?
And cousins, we're chatting to give you guys time to get your notebooks, pens, whoever wants to take notes or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back to it in a minute.
Jay Powell, Helen, they all get to sit right there by the printing press, and they get their cut first.
You talking about the Fed?
Yeah. They get their cut first, and then everybody else get their cut lower and lower down. And like she said, the value has gone down in the money that you worked hard for.
Right. So I think from a metaphysical standpoint, and I know Cousin Rue good for popping in on a Monday night. So when he do pop in, I'm going to re-ask him this question. From a metaphysical standpoint, they're getting the money in the plus. They're getting the credit.
Yes.
Right? Because again, the money is at 100%. It's fully charged. It's ready to go. Nothing's been inflated yet. And then what they're turning, and that's life. Right? Okay, from a metaphysical standpoint, they're giving us dead money.
Mm-hmm.
And like the masses. So again, we're talking 1% getting that life, right? That live money, that money that has thrived to it. And we're getting the money that has survived to it.
Yep.
And it's dead money because we keep trying to resuscitate it with more and more hours. We keep trying to resuscitate it with more and more dollars.
And so it's definitely a bad thing for savers. I know people like to save. They like to save in their bank accounts. They have the old school ways about them. Mm-hmm. But you got to get out of that. You can't just save your money in a bank account. And this is where Bitcoin comes in, because it is the antithesis to that, right? So you get to save in Bitcoin and watch the number go up against dead money all the way to the lively money, but it's still past that, right? Remember, we always say in the Bitcoin community, one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin.
Right.
And people try to say, and they denominate it against different currencies. Us in Mexico, we have to look at it against the peso. In the United States, you got to use US dollar.
Right.
And you see how it's, $1, one Bitcoin equals 67,000.
Yeah.
And so,
and in Mexico, one Bitcoin is almost what, two?
It's almost
2 million pesos. It's
almost $1 million. I think.
$1 million pesos. It's a little over $1 million pesos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And the idea is not that it's worth the dead money; is that it takes that amount of dead money to make one Bitcoin.
Yes. Thank you. That's a perfect way to say it.
And that's the way we really should be educating people on how to look at it. L1L wanted to know, how do we combat that? And Bitcoin is absolutely the way to combat that.
Mm-hmm. Because like she just said, you could also say Bitcoin is like the lively real money.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, the metaphysically, it grows.
Right. Yes, it grows. It has life to it. It grows. It's alive. It thrives.
Yes.
Whereas the dollar, we keep saying it's declining. The dollar is literally dying off. It's on life support.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep just adding more dollars to it like a freaking Frankenstein. Yes. In order to, as used to say all the time, prop the dollar up. They're constantly doing this and they're doing that. We got to increase the interest rates. There's Fed hikes. They got to do all of these things to prop the dollar up. Mm-hmm. And there was a show, and everybody laughed about it because y'all about our age. But there was a show when we talked about the dollar being Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, yeah.
And the Fed being the two guys who were in charge of, like, you know, carrying Bernie around so that they wouldn't lose the deal they were trying to close. Yep. If anybody knew Bernie died, the deal would collapse. It was like a multi-million-dollar deal. But wait, hold on. Cousin T asked he says, a bit off topic, but why can't y'all vote for the president? We got Mexicans in America that were able to vote for the Mexican president. I don't know how that works for them here. Like, I don't know how absentee ballots votes work for Mexican citizens because I'm not.
So how can we vote not for their president, for our president still?
Are you asking how we can vote for the U.S. president? Because we can do that. I mean, we're still residents of Florida, Cousin T.
Yeah.
We got a house there.
We can vote for them.
But we can't vote for a Mexican president because I am not a resident or a citizen. Don't tell nobody.
Yeah. They want you to be a citizen and you got to go through a whole bunch of
L1L said, I remember Erin saying put money into Bitcoin as her savings account. Yeah, Simon uses Bitcoin and precious metals like a high yield checking account in a sense. Not to say we're hodlers. We're heavy hodlers, right? So he's not dipping in the Bitcoin account to sell assets to do stuff.
No, it's just for...
But he doesn't keep money in our checking account, honey. Right. Let me tell you that. That check go into that checking account. Simon spent the first 4 hours of the day from about 3:30 to 7 moving all of the money out of the checking account into Bitcoin, wallets, Cash App, Swan, buying stuff on the Sun Exchange. He gets rid of all of that money and just leaves our operational expenses.
Yeah, and our operational expenses are little to none. I
mean, we don't have any credit card debt.
Yeah, we don't have any. We don't have any debt. So, and there's nothing else to. They pay for everything here for you. So you go and get your groceries for you and the family, and that's about it.
And Sean got a job, so we be like, what y'all making for dinner today? Yeah. Sean, he bought dinner yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, he made dinner.
He got paid yesterday. We was like,
Yeah, paid. Yeah, he was happy.
You know what happens when mom and dad get paid? We got to go to the grocery store.
Exactly.
That's what you're going to do today. So we're going to get back. Hopefully you guys got to take the notes you need and we can kind of move on. If anybody in the chat's like, hey, slow down, I want to take those notes, just let me know. But you can find this article if you just Google Bit2Me Academy. And it's called, What is the Cantillon Effect and its Relationship with Bitcoin?
It's a really good article.
And it's very comprehensive if you guys wanted to look at it yourself later on. Unfortunately, y'all leader over here gives me the stuff after I set up the notifications, so I don't get to put the links in the chat, so that's my bad. I'll try to get the articles from him before that.
Yeah, and it's a simple article, but it's kind of, telling of what they do.
Let's do this here.
And how they operate. So you got to watch out for the cantillionaires, the people who sit at the top, these high-level CEOs.
They the big bosses in the video game, y'all.
Tim Cook and these guys, you got to watch out for.
I just want to make sure cousins can still see the article. Okay, good. All right, so the relationship between Bitcoin and the Cantillon effect. Of course, we learned something from that crisis. This is the crisis of 2008 that they had mentioned earlier in the article. We skipped it, but they are talking about the 2008 crisis. Mm-hmm. A tool that will enable people and those who were at the tail end of the Cantillon effect to avoid harmful results. This is what led to the creation of Bitcoin by Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm sorry, it keeps doing that. Let us remember that Bitcoin has a series of very clear economic rules. Many of us should be familiar, but we're going to go over them anyway. Limited issuance and a decentralized operating structure. All of these features directly influence Bitcoin's wealth redistribution, an element that counteracts the effects of money supply inflation that characterizes the Cantillon effect within the world of fiat money. So basically, Bitcoin is a huge countermeasure to the Cantillon effect and has proven this for the last 14 years of its existence. So basically, its entire existence. So, cousin L1L, Bitcoin is the absolute answer to your question. One of the reasons too why hubby wanted to go over this is because in the last show we were talking about, we had the articles where we were talking about the money inflation.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the article was about though.
Okay.
But we're also talking about BRICS dumping the billions and billions of dollars across the world, right? Now, granted, that's not money printing, but because it's not money that's being in use of our economy, they're not utilizing it to settle debts. It's also adding to the money supply, right? True. So this is like a newer phenomena, like the Cantillon effect that's been around since the 18th century. Got it. But this is a new phenomena. The United States dollar had always been the world reserve currency.
Yes.
Many places have used it for payment settlements.
Yeah, since the end of World War II.
Right? So we had never known a world where somebody, well, at that time they couldn't refuse the dollar, right? Or they'd be blown off the map.
Yeah.
So there's that. But now in droves, in I'm going to call it in solidarity with one another, the entire world is coming together and saying, we're not going to use your dollar. So in addition to the Cantillon effect of printing new dollars in order to get that 100% that credit, right? Before it turns into a debit, before it dies. Yeah. You're also adding a significant amount of money to the money supply that we've never added before. We've never had that issue before. Those dollars had always been an operation of our economy, and now they're just coming back to our shores worthless.
Yeah. Trifling
dilemma.
Trifling dilemma. So Trifling dilemma is coming home to see us. And for those, if you remember the Trifling dilemma, it is the dilemma where if you want to have the world reserve currency, you have to kind of hollow out your own economic system, your manufacturing, all this stuff gets sent away. So when you look at the United States, it's kind of hollowed out. Remember the times where you could just go work at GM, get out of high school, right? I'm talking about a man now. Go get a job at GM, and you can buy a house. You can have some kids, send them to school. You can do all this stuff. Send them to college, do all this stuff, and get a great retirement. That was the good old days. Remember, and this isn't part of the trip. Yes, it is. It is. They took manufacturing out of the cities. Mainly Detroit is one of the most notorious ones because they had all those car manufacturers right down in the city.
In Detroit.
In Detroit, and they took them out, moved them to the suburbs.
But then they moved them out of the country.
Yeah, then they moved them out the country. So then we couldn't even get access to them. They took the
steel mills, all of that.
Yeah, steel mills in Pittsburgh. They moved those out there.
I don't know where the factories are in America, if there are any.
No, they're not many.
And then you have to pay factories workers in America so much money versus outsourcing them in another country.
Yeah, like it's the Amazon factory.
Amazon here is like working for the freaking...
It's one of them jobs, like if you're Mexican...
Forbes 500 company.
Yeah, but if you're Mexican, you get a job at Amazon.
You set.
You work and you can raise your family. You get a nice house.
Yeah, you got
a nice vehicle. And so that's what they look for. And actually, they're not paying them that much. Because if you had an American come and they looked at the wage, they'd be like, what? I ain't doing that. Same thing with...
and they'll work those extra hours in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. And same thing with silver miners. Those guys work hard.
Yeah, but it's gotten so bad that they had to shut the mines
it's very dangerous. But and also working for silver mines, there's other things going on there. Engineers galore. geologists, people like that, scientists,
high paid personnel,
high-paid personnel who could be from anywhere in the world. But if you're Mexican and you have an engineering degree, there you go.
But you're not going to get paid the same as the American engineer. You're not going to get that market price.
I don't think so.
So here's something interesting, you guys. If we read the bold print, it says, however, if you go to the supermarket today with a budget of €500, you're unable to buy the same or the equivalent products that you would have bought 10 years ago. So it's clear that the Cantillon effect has decreased your purchasing power. That is undeniable, even if economists and the central bank of your country tell you otherwise, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're telling you otherwise. And what they do, they blame others for said effect. For those of you who have read The Creature of Jekyll Island, that was one of the, I'm going to call it one of the aspects of their frameworks, is that what we're going to do is we're going to pull all of the money out of the system. And when they ask, like, what collapsed our economy, they're going to blame it on all of these other factors. So for you guys who get a chance, go ahead and look up The Creature of Jekyll Island. Make sure you read that book. That's your homework. After all, they see the overall number, a number that they've had inflated themselves. But on a personal level, it has not benefited you at all. But quite the opposite, it has made you poorer. Now ask yourself, what's happened to Bitcoin in that same period of time? Well, Cousin Jay could tell you. 10 years ago, the value of Bitcoin was about €580, and now it's around €49,000. That is a reevaluation of more than 8,400% in 10 years. And they're doing it against the euro, you guys, not against the dollar. The point is clear. The Cantillon effect in fiat affects you by causing you to lose your purchasing power, making you poorer over time. While Bitcoin, contrary to all of this, protects you from these effects. Now, all of this is made possible by Bitcoin for two things. One, redistribution of wealth. Firstly, those who own Bitcoin may be less affected by the Cantillon effect since the supply of Bitcoin is predefined and limited to 21 million units. Basically, ultimate scarcity. Which is one of the major characteristics and attributes of sound money.
Yes.
Fiat does not check that box because you can print it into, as Mike Tyson would say, Bolivian.
Perpetuity. Yeah, you just keep printing that thing forever. So they shut you down until it's like throwing money in the streets in Venezuela. If you've seen that, guys, back in the day, Zimbabwe, his money just blowing around the street like trash because it was worthless.
And I also want y'all to catch this line. It says, this contrasts with the issuance of fiat currency by central banks where money creation can disproportionately benefit certain groups in the economy. So again, the cantillionaires are disproportionately benefit from it, and then all the other 99% people actually have adverse effects of it. They suffer from the adverse effects. If there's an increase in the supply of fiat money as a result of central banks' expansionary monetary policy, the first to receive this money, such as banks and large financial institutions, can benefit by using it for investments before the price rises. We read that already. We see examples of this everywhere. For example, the inflation that economies such as the United States or Europe or the European Union have suffered after the pandemic in 2020 so far. This is explained very clearly if we take into account the enormous monetary issue that the Fed and the ECB, the European Central Banks, carried out at that time. It's the helicopter money that they're referring to, y'all. And the increase in the issuance of the dollar and the euro had and will continue to have a profound impact on inflation until now. Do you want to do financial democratization? On the other hand, Bitcoin, being a decentralized digital currency accessible to anyone with an internet connection, allows marginalized individuals and communities to access financial services without depending on traditional financial intermediaries. I think that's a trick bag though, right?
Okay.
Because when you need to use your Bitcoin, unfortunately, when you sell it, you do need to use the traditional financial intermediary. Like, you can't get away from that.
Not unless you're going Bitcoin to Bitcoin.
Yeah, but the average person can't use Bitcoin to buy their groceries, can't use Bitcoin to buy gas, can't use Bitcoin to pay their electric bill. Maybe some people can, but most people can't, and so on and so forth. This can mitigate inequalities in wealth distribution by providing a more inclusive financial system. Thus, the relationship between Bitcoin and the Cantillon effect suggests that the adoption and use of Bitcoin can potentially counteract the inequalities generated by the Cantillon effect by offering an alternative to the inflation of fiat money and promoting greater equity in the distribution of wealth.
Let me talk about the distribution of wealth. I'm going to tell a story. It's an older story. Some of you guys may have heard it. This is a story I thought I came up with. But so we're going to go to sports. We try to stay out of sports and entertainment. We try to stay in the business world for the most part. But sometimes there are things that you can use from sports. So I want to go back to, did we have to read anything? I remember Aaron said,
yeah, I read that already.
Okay.
I read those already.
All right. So there was a time back, you guys remember this, LeBron James played for the Miami Heat. And, he was deciding, where is he going to go back? Where's he going to go play? Is he going back to Cleveland? So he eventually decided to go back to Cleveland. So the only thing I bring that up is, so we can go into this, is when he went back to Cleveland, immediately the Cleveland Cavs got a 1.2 higher evaluation of what they were worth. Just by him coming back, him alone took their valuation up $1.2 million. So what does 1.2 billion dollars?
I was about to say.
So what does that say? So that says the owner instantly, like a snap, is $1.2 billion richer on paper as far as his assets go. We the people see that LeBron James is going to get about $30 million a year. So we like, oh yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. But think about this. If he made their valuation go up $1.2 billion and what he is paid for is $30 million, which seems like a lot to the people. But the people up at the top, the cantillionaires, he knows he got his money first, right now. Right now, my evaluation is this. So now what happens? Now what I could do, I got all kind of merch. I got merch, and I can sell merch at a higher price. I got his jersey, I can sell it at a higher price. I can do all these things. And he gets that, which isn't, it's not even percentages, right? And they have written in the NBA, I guess what would you say, the legal part of the NBA is that players cannot negotiate with owners as far as getting partial ownership, where you could go to the owner and say, hey, you know what, I don't want this so-and-so amount over 5 years. I'd like to actually get some equity, and you can't do that as a player. And we see it as they make a lot of money, but in the cantillionaire world, they're not making any money. That's just something. They're just throwing you little bits of money. But my whole valuation went up $1 billion compared to 30 million. And we could do the numbers on that, but you know how many orders of magnitude that is below $1 billion. And he becomes rich instantaneously. First. Before
LeBron get paid out that $32 million.
Yeah. Before he even get paid out, he get his money, and he get his money in all kind of different ways. He can raise the price of tickets now. Oh, okay, LeBron, let's raise the ticket prices. And he could do all kind of things to make money just because he brought his star
power.
Yeah,
or as the kids would say, his aura.
Yeah,
did they say aura?
Yeah, but they will say it's like a kind of like a plantation.
But it is, right?
This is a high-paid plantation.
Right? This buck was able to bring to the plantation because he's a premier one, right? This plantation is now valued at $1 billion. This is long before LeBron was on the road to being a billionaire. He's a billionaire now, thank goodness.
But, yeah. This is way back. This. 14.
But also remember when LeBron left the Cavs the first time, what it did to that local economy. Remember they were burning his jersey and stuff. Local economy got gutted. The day he made he's going to Miami, right?
Yeah.
To be with the big three. Local economy got gutted right now. Restaurants went out of business. Merchandise type stores went out of business. Everybody went out of business because they couldn't sell the Cavs jersey anymore.
If you've been to Cleveland before,
it's a small economy too.
It's not the best place. It's not the best city in the world. but they had a thriving economy down by the stadium.
All because of LeBron.
Yeah, with bars and restaurants and night and places you can go out at night too. And like you say, merchandise you could sell. And then when he left, like all that stuff was ghost town.
Gutted. And people went bankrupt. They was tight. They was burning jerseys. And then when he came back, they all celebrated him, right? Because he's back. I can go back in business. Now he left again.
Yeah, and remember, whatever the franchise was valuated when LeBron was there, he left, it went.
And then when he came back, numbers go up.
He's just moving numbers like that because that's who he is. But you can understand that he's not getting really his fair share at all.
Not really.
It's not.
It don't matter how many endorsement deals he got.
Yeah,
you start adding all of that up. It is literally a fraction of what the people at the top are actually making. Another funny story, actually. Can't remember what game it was, but Drake was at the game, and he was sitting, I think, with the staples of the city of the game he was at, next to them. Not with them, but next to them.
Yeah.
Was it Tennessee? I can't remember. Was it Memphis?
Could be.
I want to say, let's say it was Memphis, right? Let's say it was the Memphis Grizzlies, and you see on the stable. And that old man and that old woman just kept looking at Drake. They were looking at the Jumbotron. People were clapping and applauding him, and they were looking around. They looked at each other, and then they looked at him, and they said, "Are you somebody famous?" That's how rich they were. That is how rich they were. They have to look at Drake and be like, are you somebody we should know? He said, Google me. So, the wife went right into her phone. Like, oh, he's some type of rapper or something. That's how much money they have.
Yeah, that's the Cantillionaires right there.
Oh, he's just some type of rapper or something.
Yeah, so that's the Cantillionaires. And like I said, I'm just using athletics to show you how they move. They can move stuff around, and then he comes here, he raises valuation, it goes down, he goes here. And that's just not him, but other players do that. And this is how far we are from the Cantillionaires. They get theirs right off the spigot.
Not off the spigot.
Off the spigot, y'all. And then we got to wait for it to come all the way down the water.
We got to wait till it dribble out of their mouth. Now, there's a verse in the Bible where there was a woman, she was asking for healing. And Christ said to her, should I take the food off the table and give it to the dogs? And she said, even the dogs get the crumbs off the table, Lord. Like, who are you talking to? And she got healed, right? I think she was a Samaritan. I'll explain the story to y'all if y'all really want the backstory. But basically that. Am I taking the food off the table of the Cantillionaires, and whatever the little crumbs and stuff that fall to the floor, we the dogs, the people, that's what we get.
Mm-hmm. And that's why this is so important to have Bitcoin and to diligently get it. Get as much as you can, whatever it is that you can get, but make sure that you are getting it. And don't miss out. Don't miss out. I mean, people say, oh, but the price is so high. You're still early. You're still early. You see these price predictions for 2030. They're getting out of hand. 1.5 million per Bitcoin. I forget what it has to be. Is it 1 million?
For what?
For parity. I believe it gets 1 million is parity. If I'm doing my math right. 1 Bitcoin per $1.
It'll be parity.
I think it's a million per Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure it is.
But how
bad will the dollar be?
How bad would the dollar be?
Dollar could be down and out. But
if Bitcoin goes from 70,000 to 1 million or 5 million or 25 million, where is the dollar?
Hopefully then it switched over to some kind of CBDC
mm-hmm.
and try to
mitigate some of that.
Rectify it and call
deterioration.
It something else. Call it something else and let the dollar go down to what every fiat currency goes to in the history of the world will eventually go to zero.
Their intrinsic value always returns to zero.
Always.
I think he had an alphabet book of 326 currencies or something.
There's all kind of currencies that have been going on since the dawn of time.
Went to zero.
Yeah, and the longest standing one is the British sterling pound, and it is 99.95%. So it's right there. So
Cousin T. Willine asked a very interesting question. He says, how much Bitcoin do I need before I can feel secure? I'm going to say grayscale level. I don't know. I bet they feel very secure. They probably feel panicked with the amount of Bitcoin they got.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Because it depends on your household, your
Yeah.
budget, the amount of people in your household, the amount
Hmm.
of debt. Like that would be what we would call a formulaic question.
Yeah, because if you got still got a long way to go raising the kids, paying off a mortgage,
Do you have loans,
loans and
multiple
stuff.
loans, home equity line of credit, do you mortgages? How much credit debt do you have as far as your credit cards go? How many car notes do you have?
Yeah.
Right? It's a very formulaic question because again, at the end of the day, it does go into your debt to income ratios.
Yeah. So um, I wouldn't really give a number. I know a lot
To
of
it.
people like to say if you get to one Bitcoin, the Bitcoin, some of the Bitcoin OGs say point one Bitcoin is good, but like you said, it depends on your family and
Yeah.
things like that.
Your
But I like
financial.
to say it is, don't even pay attention to how much Bitcoin you got. Just like kind of like put your head down and put in work, and you just get it. You get it. You don't even go look at it. You don't worry about how much is in there. You don't worry about um, it's gone up, is it going down. Don't even worry about it. Just make sure that you get it at all costs. And by the time it's time for the shit to hit the fan, you'll be ready. You'll be prepared. You'll be prepared more than most people. And that's the main point we're saying is be prepared as much as possible, because nobody can be 100% prepared, because there's going to be some things that come at you that you didn't prepare for, like, oh, I didn't think about this, I didn't see that coming. Be most prepared as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Bitcoin thing, like I say, I would just get it at all costs and just put it away and don't even look at it.
So, thank you for joining, Sultan Shakir.
Oh
I'm
man.
glad you joined us, and your question is really good, right?
Hey.
So it says, can Bitcoin become worthless as long as it's valued against fiat? No. So they use fiat so that you can understand its value, and I think that's where a lot of people are going wrong.
Yeah, fiat is just a measure of it so that people understand what it's worth,
Right.
right? But if the fiat goes by, they're just going to measure it against something else,
Else, right.
right? It'll be the new U.S. dollar, the new digital U.S. dollar, or whatever they're going to measure it against. So no, it can't. It can't go to zero.
But it's similar to if you had, you know, 1,000 ounces of gold, right? Gold has always had its value. If you measured what 1,000 ounces of gold are worth in fiat, it doesn't make the gold worthless. It's just showing you how much money you need in order to acquire this gold.
Yeah.
So a new way, and you may have just joined us, you may have missed the comment that we made. Instead of looking at um, the fiat in terms, you're looking at Bitcoin, like one Bitcoin, which is worth whatever it is today, somewhere in the 60s, right? That's how many fiat dollars you need for one Bitcoin, right? There was a time, like you said, when one Bitcoin was $1. It was a long time ago. And as the dollar began to decline, right? Now you needed $2 and then $3 and then $4 and then $5. Bitcoin still just one Bitcoin. And then $6 and $7 and so on and so forth till you got to the 10s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. Now you need almost $70,000 for one Bitcoin. You don't need more Bitcoin, you need less Bitcoin. You need a lot more dollars because the dollars are declining. So you want to kind of reframe. We do a lot of reframing in dollars because on purpose, I tell this story all the time. Your United States government, way back since the 70s, have wanted to conceive generations that put their value. We still got those $1. Yeah. That put their value. I don't know if we have gold or silver. Oh, you got, I think, a silver coin up there. They put their value in this, right? Instead of putting their value on what this represented. And you have to remember that as history has it, this is just a promissory note. There is no value in this. This is just paper. There's no value in it, right? And the paper was supposed to represent how much gold represented this promissory note. And then what did they do? They said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take the gold off the promissory note. It's just going to be the promissory note. We're going to put our trust in the promissory note and say that it's worth something. We're going to back it with the United States military, right? So that as new generations were born, everybody put their value into the promissory note instead of into what the note represented.
Right, because at this point, if you go to print some money, it costs the same to print a $1 as it costs to print $100 bill.
Right.
So there is no value in the paper.
No.
I mean, it's just they put a different number on it, and you can't do that when it's backed by gold or something like that. It doesn't have to be 100% back. Even if how it was 20% back, you still can't do those things like that.
No.
But when it's backed by nothing,
then you can just print away.
You can just do whatever you want. And so you always want to have something of value. And like we say in Bitcoin, they call it Gold 2.0.
Right.
Michael Saylor will call it real estate in cyberspace, because if you sell it as it will be taxed as real estate. So that's a taxable event. Say you sold $20,000 worth of Bitcoin. It's like you sold $20,000 worth of land. That's how it will be taxed.
Right.
So he is correct about it being land in cyberspace, and it's only so much that you can buy. His analogy, and I think she could probably run with the analogy more than me, but he was talking about if you got 21 million blocks in Manhattan.
Yep.
And that's all. There'll be no more. You can't make no more blocks in Manhattan.
This is all this area is. The geographical area. That's the river.
And so so when you buy all this up, you might as well buy it up, buy as much as you can, so that you can be in and say, yeah, I got some blocks in Manhattan. And that's what it is. It's like real estate in Manhattan, or whatever city you want to name. Chicago, yeah. And so grab it up in that regard. For my people who might be, I know people get on people's back about renting homes and stuff like that, but sometimes that's what people have to do. Sometimes that's what people rather do. But what you can do is have Bitcoin in your mind. Is like, this is my
real estate portfolio.
This is my real estate portfolio. This is what I buy. Say I buy $200 a month, and this is what I buy, and I build on my portfolio. And this is real estate. So, people try to say, "Oh, when you gonna buy a house?" And some people don't want to buy a house. Some people don't want to deal with the headache of having a home, especially in these new generations. I don't think that they're really big on having homes that they have to actually take care of. Right? You rent a house, hey, something's wrong with the plumbing, you just make that call. And they got to send somebody to take care of it. Whereas when you own a house, you might have to actually get out there and do it. In the old days, like our fathers would do it, our grandfathers would do, but you don't see that as much anymore. You don't see that. Young guys don't know how to change tires. No disrespect to my young guys out there, but know how to change a tire. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Learn how to change.
Don't go off on a rant now.
And
so T. Willine said his new thing is Bitcoin is a gift from God put here to fix the world. Whose new thing is that? Max Kaiser? But let's travel down that road then, right? We live in a society where they profit off of debt, right? And there's no coincidence that the word debt sounds a lot like death.
What does it mean?
A debt instrument?
Yeah.
I don't have the etymology for it, do you?
No. You were talking about debt.
I'm saying debt, right?
Yeah.
So they profit off of debt. There's something wrong with that. It's not godly. It's actually wildly demonic.
It is. And like I'm sorry I got crossed over. I was going to go into the etymology of mortgage.
A mortgage, yeah. Mortgage, a death deed, yes.
Death deed.
Right? So there's that, right? It's a death deed. Again, death and debt are very similar in its etymology. Now, Bitcoin, right? This is what we keep saying. It grows. It's alive. If you look at a Bitcoin chart, right, for my paramedics, for those who can read an EKG, it does look like a natural, heart movement. Right? It's going up, but still it has life to it. Whereas the dollar is the inverse. This person's going to be flatlining very soon. So, there is, I don't know who it was that you said was saying, Michael Saylor was saying that.
Yeah.
I could smoke a bag of that. Right? If you just started doing, and maybe we'll definitely ask Rue to come on and do the Steelers Nation. If you wearing a banquet shirt. That's Cousin Jay.
Come on now. Come on now.
So maybe we'll ask Cousin Rude to do the metaphysics of it. But again, no society can thrive in debt.
Can't.
And they're not thriving in the debt. They're profiting first and then giving you the dead instrument. And that, when I say debt, I'm saying debt. When I say death, I'm saying death. But they're giving you both. They're giving you debt and death, right? Because what comes with debt? Stress, heart issues, right? People start losing their mind, they have panic attacks. You can see all of the death that is widely attributed to the stress of debt. There's no life there. There's no thriving there, right? And the whole society is built up on debt, and they don't utilize that debt. They're like, hey, we got this shit in profit before we hand it off to you, and it becomes debt. We had it when it was alive, and then we handed the dead thing to you. So I could smoke what Michael Saylor's saying. It's also what we like to call checks and balances in a world that they are just constantly manipulating and deceiving, right? Bitcoin is ultimate scarcity. That's that. You cannot manipulate. There's no magic Bitcoin book that you can pull a new Bitcoin out of, like their magic checkbook. There is no way. The ledger is very transparent. We get to see when wallets move. The other day we just saw 2.8 million move out of a wallet or something like that. Everything is very transparent when it comes to Bitcoin, whereas all these backdoor dealings and stuff they have with the dollar and how the cantillionaires, those sitting at the printer, get it first, and we don't know what they're doing with it, and they get to invest in their instruments first, and yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. I can agree wholeheartedly with Michael Saylor about it being some type of divine instrument.
And look who's selling it to you. This man is a billionaire. I mean, he don't really have to kick game to us about Bitcoin, right?
He can just collect it and go about his business.
Yeah,
ride to the sunset.
Same as Max Kaiser. He was getting it way back in the day before it was $1. When it was $1. So he scooped up mega Bitcoin. He's giving it away to people. People losing it. Alex Jones gave Alex Jones 10,000. Alex Jones lost it.
He needed it for that lawsuit though.
Yeah, he could use it now. Use it now, but they don't have to tell us anything because they already got money and they add Bitcoin to their coffers. So and they're just turning back and giving us a hand a little bit. Right? They're over there. They got their Bitcoin golden visa in El Salvador.
It's like the Willy Wonka golden ticket, right?
Yeah, they got their visa. I just read the other day that Max Kaiser is an advisor to President Bukele. So, hey, he's right there in his ear. He right there in his ear. So, he got it going. He's in the ear of a president of a nation, but still, willing to chop it up with the everyday Joe Bag of Donuts.
That's what they call it, Joe Bag of Donuts.
And so, that's why you got to respect that. It's not them trying to hustle you nothing or sell you anything.
That's the other thing. They're not trying to sell you anything. They're saying you go to the exchange and you buy your own Bitcoin. I don't know what's going on with this light, y'all, but we're just going to do it out of today.
The little baby tore it up.
Oh, on his little apartment party?
Yeah, he was tripping. He was bending it all.
The light on the people in the apartment.
He was tripping. The light was hot. But, and so that's what it is. So get as much as you can. If you get a little windfall of money, try to get as much as you can. If you get one, they're hard to come by.
Cousin T. Willine said, I think Alex Jones lost it like a king lost his in a boating accident. I could almost bet he got that tucked away. Probably had to hide it after he had that big ass lawsuit.
I don't know. He might have it,
and just have to go on record like, oh yeah, I lost that computer a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the story. Story goes he lost the computer or something when he was traveling. That's where he had the 24 keys he faced, and maybe he did. I can see him.
Maybe he didn't.
He seems goofy.
That's the king of conspiracy theories. Maybe he did.
He tried to act like he don't even remember him giving it to him.
Yeah, and I want you to shut up talking about it because I owe some people some money.
Oh,
that's what he was thinking during the interview. Like, oh yeah, I lost that a long time ago. Be quiet. in a boat accident. They're laughing.
Yeah, Alex
Like
Jones.
the king lost in the boat. There ain't no damn
Yeah,
boat
Alex
accident.
Jones. He got some good information. It's hard.
As hard as that rabbit hole,
You gotta
honey.
vet it. You gotta vet it
That
hard because
rabbit
he be
hole be a
going.
wormhole.
Yeah, he be getting crazy with it. Like, whoa, what you talking about? That don't make sense. But hey, it could be true.
Yeah, but no society, and unfortunately, every society is built on this debt system, and it is wildly demonic,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everything that God has put into place, and I don't know what y'all beliefs are, whatever you believe in, whatever created this planet, and I believe it is the living God who created it, everything he did was in credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where one fruit has multiple seeds.
Yes.
And the seed isn't another fruit. The seed is a whole nother tree that does unlimited harvests.
Mm-hmm.
That's a credit system, right? Think about, can you count the blades of grass? Can you count the grains of sand? Can you count the mountains? Can you count a snowflake? How many snowflakes are in the blistering of a snowstorm? Like
Mm-hmm.
everything in this creation is in profit. He was once one person. I was once one person. We're now 6 people, right? That's profit.
Yep.
Right? Out of nothing came 4 more people with his face. I didn't get one, y'all. Not one. I've been this 3D printer now for 23 years. I ain't get one child that looked like me. But God has created everything in a credit system. So now here you go, Lucifer, with your debt system.
Yes.
Like, this is only going to work if I profit first, and then everything else is a debt against you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. And that's how they have the societies built up. And, they don't like the Bitcoin, but they buying it, right? Because that's what has value.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even, it's a kind of, we can't beat them. We certainly have to join them because the value's in it. And we're going to dick around and lose money if we stand on our...
You lose money, you're gonna fall behind. Depends on what you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Hi,
why.
Nerd Up Ain't.
That's why you gotta follow the money sometimes if you are unsure. To see where the money's going, see where money's flowing.
I used to say that a lot.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of money flowing into a lot of things that I don't say that anymore.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about on the Bitcoin level, but
Oh, okay, yeah, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff going on. We say that, and then you get tricked up with these altcoins where you can get the 60 bagger and all sorts of weird stuff.
look, those altcoins.
Market caps ain't where they supposed to be at and stuff like that. So
A lot of those altcoins, you can add new coins to the circulation, which is a big killer for me. I don't want new coins just popping in circulation whenever they want. So I always a fan of I was always a fan of I'm sorry.
thank you.
I was a fan of the scarcity model. I like the scarcity model, and this is ultimate scarcity. And we all know that. These are simple things that I don't even need to mention. But
Let me pull
sometimes
it up because some of the cousins may not be familiar with the sound money attributes. And I do want to, y'all got y'all notebooks out and everything.
About 10 of them, 5 of them are concrete that we use.
I'm not wearing my eyelashes for y'all.
And one of the things I also just got a double back about Bitcoin, there is no human counterparty risk, right? Everything else has humans behind it. There's a CEO, right?
Yep.
CFO, CIO, all these
like
people.
ETH. I mean, we have it. We have Ethereum, but it does have a counterparty risk to it.
Yeah, with him.
And he's supposed to be a genius like Elon Musk.
Anything could happen, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh boy.
That worries me.
It's almost like a single point of failure. So you gotta be careful of that.
I didn't even do this on purpose. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to run them through importance of sound money and its characteristics real quick with them.
Okay.
All right, cousins, since y'all got y'all notebooks out, he said y'all got to stop hating on the altcoins. We hate on them. It's a Bitcoin is priced out the average man, so the only way that's funny is the alts. Not true. It didn't outprice anybody yet, babe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. I'm just going to share this with you guys real quick. It comes from medium.com, but you guys can also just Google attributes and characteristics of sound money. There we go. All right, the importance of sound money and its characteristics and why you need to invest in Bitcoin today. I didn't even do that on purpose, y'all. Money has been around for thousands of years. It's evolved with time. Now it says, in today's world, sound money is of most importance. Fiat money is not sound money. Fiat is a currency. We refer to it as money again because it was a trick bag on your psychology.
Yes.
Right? That's why they call it money, because they wanted you to associate the value with the promissory note. That was a trick bag on your psychology. So, cousins, what is sound money? Sound money is not an arbitrary social contrivance or a creation of governments. It is a natural outgrowth of the market economy. But I want y'all to see the wording here, right? Words are spells. That's why I always say I want you to see how this was written. Outgrowth. There's growth there into excess. That's what outgrowth is.
Yep.
Growth into excess. No debt, no death, right? Sound money. And this is quoted by Murray Rothbard. So why is the fractional reserve system detrimental? We talked about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We said it's the debt system.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's detrimental. The fractional reserve banking system, where banks lend more money than they have on reserve, has led to inflation and economic crashes. This system creates a false sense of security, leading to a vicious cycle of debt. You see the money in front of y'all? That's so cute. So 3 properties of sound money, and sound money actually has 9 properties.
You can take it out that far, but
yeah, I'm going to see if I can find it.
Usually goes 5.
Durability. So sound money should be able to withstand wear and tear and last for a long time. Not like the paper wallets we had back in the day.
Oh, no,
right?
Now
we got hardware wallets. Thank goodness. I don't know if Crip works on here, but thank the Lord. Divisibility. It should be easy to divide into smaller units to facilitate transactions. What has better divisibility than the Satoshi system?
None, because it's what is it?
Right? So it's 100 million Satoshis to make 1 Bitcoin.
There you go.
That is abundance. Can any one of you sit down and count from 1 to 100 million in one breath? None of us. So even in this divisibility, there is abundance.
Yes.
Scarcity. Sound money should be limited in supply to maintain its value. I'm going to read that for the cousins in the back who got hearing aids in. Sound money should be limited in supply to maintain its value. Scarcity is where value lies, not in the excess. This is why hyperinflation doesn't work for anyone's economy. So the effects of these in our modern lives is that sound money provides a stable store of value, leading to a more robust economy. Robust meaning lively, alive, thriving, moving, growing. Mm-hmm. It promotes savings and investments, creates wealth and prosperity for all. You see this sentence here, y'all? This is what they don't want. They don't want y'all saving, investing, creating anything, and prospering at all.
At all.
And this is why they hate it. Now, we already know why we need to invest in Bitcoin, so I don't think I need to go into that. But furthermore, let's go here for my cousins who are taking notes. Furthermore, Bitcoin has all the characteristics of sound money, such as scarcity, divisibility, portability, right? You can have it on your phone. You can travel anywhere you want to. Nobody even knows you have it, which makes it an attractive investment for individuals looking to diversify their financial portfolios. Bitcoin is permissionless. Okay, y'all can see it, right? Because I can't read that fast. I have seizures. Neutral, apolitical, permissionless, unconfiscatable, decentralized, free speech, freedom, money, open. All right, and then it go back over again. But I love that. In addition to its investment potential, Bitcoin also offers a degree of financial freedom. We talk about this. It is immune to government interference and inflation. Unlike traditional currencies that can be manipulated by the central banks and government, Bitcoin supply is limited to 20 million coins. We understand that each coin has 100 million Satoshis, which means that it is not subject to inflationary pressures. It is what we call deflationary.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because Bitcoin transactions are recorded on a public ledger, they are transparent and secure. And you know they hate that, y'all. Which means that users can trust the system without having to rely on a third-party institution. Oh, some bonus tips. The first paper money was introduced in China.
Oh,
That's kind of poetic now, ain't it, right?
take
The
ours
gold
now.
standard was abandoned, we know, in 1971, and the total market cap of Bitcoin is over $1 trillion. All right, y'all. So definitely do your homework with that. Okay, cousin's talking. Hold on. I'm about to read your comment in just a second. Oh, I think the cousins are talking to each other. Toucan, thank you so much for joining. Is that like two chains? Toucan? He wants to know why cousin T thinks that people are being outpriced in Bitcoin. And then cousin T says because most people can't afford a Bitcoin and people like to own whole assets. But see, the problem with that, cousin T will line is, and if you're talking about our people, because that's what I'm about to talk about, we have the overarching problem in the Black community is discipline. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you had to look at the Black community and be like, what is the number one chink in the Black community's armor? It is y'all, we as a community lack discipline.
Yeah.
And there are a few of us, like David Goggins, who got the discipline down track, right?
Shout out to David Goggins. He be getting it in.
And it's because we weren't taught that type of discipline. We weren't taught delayed gratification. We didn't have these conversations when we were growing up, right? Discipline, consistency, accountability. Let's talk about the accountability in the Black community that's lacking in all areas, in all facets, right? And this is really what the problem is. Yes, most people want to own a whole asset, but ain't willing to do whatever is necessary to get to that asset. But you know what y'all will do? Y'all will spend $5, $6, $7, $8,000 on the prom for your 16, 17-year-old. You got that money together, right? Prom season just passed. Muggs is rolling around in Maybachs, right? You rented a Maybach for your 17-year-old to go to the prom, and you ain't got not one Bitcoin between y'all. You got the money for that. You find the money for that, right? We got friends on our timeline, got every pair of Jordan he ever manufactured, and then turn around and say, nah, we can't afford Bitcoin. If you could afford $300 sneakers, you can dollar cost average your way into some Bitcoin every month, all month long. Right? And are we willing to give up our effing creature comforts, our conveniences, our ridiculous, and I'm said it, yep, Aaron said it. Y'all can send me the emails and I'm gonna send it right back to you. Our ridiculous wants for something that we actually need. Right? What is your choice and your trade-off, ma'am or sir? You want to be free? Guess what? You want to live outside the United States? Guess what? Right? I know there's a lot of people online showing you this beautiful, glamorous life and living in another country. I'm going to tell you right now, bull fucking shit. I'm not saying that what they're showing you is not true. They are not showing you the choice and the trade-off behind that.
They're not, because once you get to these other places, very nice place, right, that we live in.
Nice place, but there's a choice and a trade-off.
But we still have to work a lot. So it's not a lot of time to be, frolicking at the beach and all that. It's just.
He mad because we don't get to frolic like we should as adults.
So you got to put in work.
All these kids.
Like don't let them hit you with the crossover, right? It ain't like that. Sitting on the edge of the yacht, jumping in the Maldives and all this stuff. Man, you got to work.
But it is, right? Because they're showing you the one side of the coin, they ain't showing you the other.
So to work.
Right? They're not showing you 3:30 in the morning wake ups. They're not showing you work from 3:30 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, only to do it again the next day. And you got to be sharp. You're running businesses. You got to make decisions.
Yep.
You have to be able to critically think. You have to be able to problem solve, right? That's Nobody likes a whiner and a complainer. Okay, We see the problem. What's the damn solution? How can we resolve it?
And and especially as somebody like her, who's some sort of high level executive, I can't even call it the title. But
wearing me thin.
I can't call the title of it, but is
It's project management.
it's a person who
And
puts out
service
fires, put out
implementation
fires every
all
day.
day long. Daggone firefighter.
She might
I
as well
should
be a
just put his
firefighter.
helmet on and sit at my laptop. But then we got to put the fires out for his consultation businesses, right? They want to ask you all of these questions and put all of these action plans and stuff together for them and don't want to follow through with it and don't understand why they're not getting the outcomes that they're looking for because you don't want to own a whole Bitcoin or you want to own a whole Bitcoin right now. You don't understand the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Yeah.
Right? If you said we're going to take a road trip from here to Vegas, you're not going to blink and teleport there, right? You got to take certain steps in order to get there. I don't know why people don't do that with their finances.
Yeah.
Your son going to the prom, you gonna find the money to buy everything he asked you for. Your daughter going to prom, you're gonna find the $3,000 for her installation, right? And then the money for her dress and the money for her. We see Black people do it every single day, every single year. Y'all want to go on 16 cruises a year? I've seen you do it.
And just for the record, I paid for my own prom as a teenager. So I just wanted to get that out there.
I didn't go to the prom.
I paid for my own prom, but I had a little bit of money back then. I was working.
I didn't go. I saw how much it cost, and I said, I think my money will be better spent on my debit card when I get to basic training because I knew I was going to the military. And whatever my dad and my mom were going to spend on that, we're going to be broke here in about 4 months when I get to Lackland.
Yeah, but it's just like she said, it starts with one step, right? The journey starts with one step.
But every journey starts with one step,
starts with one Satoshi.
If you're going to write a novel, your book starts with one word. If you are going to be a photographer, your business starts with one photograph. Like, there's nothing you do that doesn't start with that one step. So I don't understand that mindset, right? We used to talk to people about precious metals and we would show you how to put your portfolio together. And a lot of people would be like, well, if I can't have the stack that y'all have, then I'm not really interested in doing it. And I want to ask them, do you think we blinked our eyes and all of a sudden ended up with thousands of ounces of silver and gold? No. This shit is from 2014 all the way through to 2024, month by month by month by month. But what you're seeing is the outcome of consistency, discipline, right? You're seeing accountability, you're seeing responsibility, and you're saying, if I can't get the outcome and the benefit before actually putting the work in, then I don't want it. And you don't understand that that's not how it works. Right? I have these young ladies want to be married 23 years and have 4 kids in month 4. You can't do that. Ma'am, you got married yesterday. Even if you got pregnant today, you're not going to have 4 children. You're not going to have 6 children. You're not going to have a child, right? You got pregnant today. It takes 9 months for that baby to grow and so on and so forth. So that's a conversation we need to have in our community all the time, right? When we see people we need to understand the work that goes into why they have it. It's too much showing the benefit, the significant beneficial outcome, and not enough the work behind the scenes involved. Why? Because that's boring. Yeah. Why? Because that look hard as hell. Yeah, why? Because there's a friction there. Go ahead.
Yeah, because we talk about the business world a lot. We just brought up that athletic for a little bit. But, the business world, you got to build behind the scenes. You got to network with people. Mm-hmm. You got to make yourself known in the organization. You have to make a reputation for yourself within the organization to keep moving up and up and up and up, right? Mm-hmm. Because
sorry, we had a dead phone. Thought we had to buy a new one, and now we don't. Yeah. 1,800 pesos back in the budget. Yay. Okay. Didn't go to the prom. No, cryptonomics, I didn't. But just in case you're trying to play me, let me explain something to you. I drove a Jaguar to high school every day. So I had the money to go. I was just smart with my money.
Did you have a date?
Yes, I did. Wow, would you like me to get him on here so he could tell you how he cursed me out for not going?
Okay.
Friends.
Okay.
He might be lament on how he lost me. Well, I didn't go either. Oh, cryptonomics didn't go either. He was homecoming king nominee. Prom was overrated. I was not any of those things, right? In high school, I'm social, like I'm good in social settings. I can do the show. I don't have stage fright and stuff, but I'm an introvert, right? I'm one of those corny, geeky people who rather read a book or write in her journal. He used to be an introvert. I don't know where this came from. That he wants to be social all the time. And Aaron, we got to go here, put on this dress. We're going to meet the mayor. The mayor won. We got to go to his party. Why we got to go to his party? We ain't vote for him.
I was a little younger and I had a lot of discipline, and so I was trying to get to where I was trying to get to.
But so prom was in June for us. No, it was in late May for us. Yeah. We graduated in June. In September, I was going to the military, and my recruiter told me they don't pay y'all nothing. Save every single dime. So we told the story on today's Monday. On Friday, how I cashed in my godmother's bonds that she bought me. Yeah. Yeah, I was squirreling all my money away so that when I got to Lackland, I had like $2,000-$4,000 on my little card, because I remember this girl in my flight, when she got paid, it was like $300 and something.
Yeah, that's what it was back then.
That's crazy. That was nuts. I was like, word, I got like $4,500 one year. So I didn't go to prom. I drove a Corvette to high school. What? I drove my daddy's Jag. Oh, there goes Cousin Rue. I was looking for you earlier. People aren't patient at all. It takes time to build things up. Cousin Rue, can I have you hop in the room? I just want to talk about the metaphysics on debt and credit. Hold on a second. I want you to hop in the room with us real quick, because I just want to get your insight on this. You're so good at this stuff. Anybody else who want to hop in, the invitation is open to you too, but I have a very specific question for Cousin Rue, because he be doing the etymology and the metaphysics, and he'll share his screen and show us the numerology.
Oh, he's an entomologist? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Cousin Rue, he do it all. That's my dude. But I knew. Didn't I tell y'all Cousin Rue be hopping in on Mondays?
Entomologist like Griffin.
But while you try to do it in Chrome, well, you do this, Cousin Rue. We were talking earlier about Bitcoin being a growth instrument, right? And fiat being a debt instrument, having similar qualities in its etymology as death, right? An economy that is built foundationally on debt is a non-thriving economy. It hasn't worked. It never worked. It won't work. But they keep trying to force it.
And let's talk about one other thing. I forgot to mention it earlier. But in the United States, across the board, you look across the board as far as like people who are cantillionaires close to the printing press, and we named a few. But look at politicians across the board, right? For the most part, they're old white men. And they're really just running this thing in the ground because it doesn't matter to them, right? They got what they wanted out of this thing, and they don't care what happens. They don't care what happens behind them. You think Sleepy Joe cared what happened behind him? He don't care. He don't know what's going to happen in front of him.
But he's got a son. I mean, I know his son looking at football numbers, but...
His son about to go sit down for a minute.
But don't his son have a son?
Yeah, probably.
So I'm saying, like, you know, and I'm just asking a question. I'm just saying
they're crashing it. They don't care. They don't care. When you look at Mitch up there, what's his name?
Mitch McConnell.
He look like he's saving or cares about anyone.
No, I think they're demons, but
yeah, I mean these people aren't.
I think they're demons.
They're getting what they want out of this world. At the spigot right there, and they don't care. They don't care. They're not building it up. You know what else I noticed? Because these people be on top of this. We talk about this. The Western world is on below replacement. And what does that mean? That means white men and white women are below replacement. So what they think is the United States, you know, is going to be taken over in about 50 years. It's not going to be the United States. They love, you know, there'll be no let's make America great again.
But what I find ironic is it's probably going to look like what it used to look like before your asses came and tried to conquer it in the first damn place. Now, they won't be as dark, right? There's 47 people in the room at the hour and 24-minute mark. I'm not sure if Cousin Rue going to be able to join us or not.
But yeah, and so, you know, they're just running it into the ground. They don't care. They don't care. They don't do anything. There's old white men, maybe some old white women up there. There's nobody. How in the hell can you have a presidential election of a country like the United States, and only two people you got to pick from is a 75-year-old and an 80-year-old.
You talking about
Yeah,
Trump's like 78 or something.
that doesn't make sense. And we sitting here
Oh, he's here. He's here.
watching the Mexican elections, and everybody who's running is young.
My cousin
They're
is
trying
here.
to,
Hey y'all, what's up?
I just want to pick your brain.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Brain.
oh, so you got a different angle.
He got the
I
green
ain't
screen. That's why we get to see the green screen before we don't.
Yeah, this is my like backup computer. The other computer is somewhere else right now.
Oh,
And you
okay.
don't have to share your screen. I just kind of want to share. I know you like to share your screen, so I was thinking if you was gonna do it, do it. But the idea that debt and death, right, are almost like synonymous with one another, and how in God's creation everything is built into a credit, from people to animals to grass to every organic thing is in credit, right? Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. That was the first commandment.
Abundance too. Yeah.
And then you have these people, the creatures of Jekyll Island, like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna create a system that's built in debt. How could that work? It doesn't. And it hasn't.
Like they say that mortgage, the actual like if you break down the etymology of the word, it's a death contract.
Mm-hmm.
You know those boys are like 30 years long, so it's like I was
Because
just
you
talking
can't even
about something.
buy a house till you're about 30, 40 years old, right? And when you
Right.
eat 30 is generous, is hell.
I mean, you got a really
right?
good job.
You got an excellent job, but it's probably a starter house, right?
Mhm.
So let's say 40, you're gonna be paying a mortgage until you're 70. When did I pay my parents' mortgage off? About 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
That was deep in the 70s.
Now they had a 15-year mortgage, and that was their second freaking house. Right? So just think about that. My mom's 83, so if I did that 5 years ago, she was in her mid 70s.
Yeah, she was late 70s. I'm saying,
Late 70s, my dad too, because he would have been 85 this year, 86.
Mhm. It's an effed up system, but again,
Like the metaphysics of it. I just wanted to tell them because I think it was Cousin T who said that Michael Saylor believes that Bitcoin is from God, it's divine, and it's here to save us. And I agreed with it. But what are your thoughts?
Well, y'all know how I got into that whole thing about Bitcoin being immutable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I don't know if these people heard it. Some of these people are new, cousin.
well, let me see if I can pull it up right quick.
And
Because I know you guys were talking about how that's an attribute of God. And it was just
immutability.
funny to see that in the numbers of Bitcoin. Let me see if I can bring that up right quick. How y'all doing today?
Fine. We so happy to see you, cousin.
Yeah.
But I knew you was gonna. I said it to them too, way early in the show. I said, cousin Rue gonna be on later. We're gonna ask him.
Yeah,
Immutability,
Mondays are good times for me.
omniscience,
Let's see.
the omnipotence.
Okay.
I guess we could say
Go to-
Bitcoin omnipotent.
That could be.
I mean, it is the most powerful financial instrument we've ever seen that they have on record,
Mm-hmm.
and it far outperformed gold. As long as gold has been alive,
Right. And then, you have the people who say Bitcoin was
discovered and not created.
right.
And Max says that they show you the post-apocalyptic world where like all of the fauna and stuff are growing on the skyscrapers and stuff in Manhattan and in LA and stuff like that. Is it gonna show? There we go. Can we make it bigger?
Can I make it big? Let me see.
Yeah, I made it bigger, but if you can make the actual, yeah, a
Is
little
that
bit more,
better?
more. Can you do more? I sound like a woman, don't I? Pause, and pause. Right?
How about that?
Yeah, without me having to say pause again.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's great. All
Okay.
right, Cousin Rue is gonna explain this to you because it was so fantastical when he did it the first time.
So, so immutability is when you the definition. I know y'all know, but just in case anybody in the crowd doesn't know,
Right.
immutability is like it can be changed. So it was interesting to see this at the numbers that Bitcoin. So 9, 9, 9, and 9. If you just add up all of these singly, that Bitcoin itself, just the word, adds to 9 here. And there's certain other coins where you can do this same thing, like so it's not like I don't think it's a coincidence that they chose Bitcoin like that. And there's a whole breakdown I did with it on one of my conspiracy channels that I have, like the whole breakdown of money and like how money came into being as far as the Templars go. But like, it was very interesting to have this whole immutability as far as numbers go, because I really think that numbers are the key to everything in life. That's what I think.
Lil Kim told us it was money, power, and respect.
Yeah,
That was the key to life. Yeah, man.
She was
classic.
mistaken then, right, Cousin Rue?
Hey, I think what is it? I think it's Pythagoras says all is number. I truly believe like all's number. And when you think about like programming, programmers, I do programming, and the compiler just breaks down words into zeros and ones,
Yep.
and
The
that's
Matrix.
it. That's it.
All right, we'll call Kim and tell her she was wrong.
Yeah, and they say, well, this is physics. They say that mathematics is the language
The
of the
universe.
universe.
It has to be.
So, yeah, numbers, 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 numbers.
Funny story, Cousin Rue. Um, what's the black man's name that we like? Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking to Katy Perry.
Yeah.
He asked her, he said, "What is the language of the universe?" And she was like, "Music?" He was like, "Close." Because music is numbers as well, right? The
Yeah.
keys are
Yep.
actually numbers,
100%. Because
right? She was
when
like,
you
"Oh,
look
not
at
music?"
octaves,
Yeah.
yeah, when you look at octaves, octaves are like they just repeat over and over again, just like nines. Because if you look at nine, like almost every number that like, and we learned this in like math class. So like 45 is 5 times 9. So anything that adds up to 9 is also kind of divisible by 9.
Hmm.
So there you have that kind of immutability even in like the math of it. You can like completely geek out over nines. Like it's crazy.
I want to make sure, cousins, do you guys understand what rule? Don't be. We're not the type of show that we're gonna make you feel bad if you need us to just kind of simplify it a little bit. And we don't like moving on the assumption that you know what we're talking about when we talk about the importance of the number 9 in the universe. So let me see if anybody in the chat says anything. But Katy Perry was like, "It's not music because it transcends this." She gave him this whole thing. He know it's math. So then she goes, "Oh, I'm bad at math." He was like, "Oh, well, that's the language of the universe." And believe it or not, music is built on math, and you're a singer, and I'm concerned now.
Oh yeah,
This
for
is on
sure. Like when
It's
you
crazy. He's kind of funny.
Yeah, see.
yeah, when you look at octaves and how octaves repeat. So it's like math is that, and then there's something else with music like vibration. So
Yeah,
then you
like
can go
the
all the way.
megahertz
Go
that
ahead.
didn't they didn't they change the vibration of music? I
Yes,
just took us on a rant.
from 440 to 432 to 440,
Oh,
and
they increased it.
432 is it adds up to 9.
Yep.
Yeah, it does. And 440 only adds up to 8.
Right. So
Oh, I'm
the
going to tell you this.
432. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So a long time ago, taking on a little synagogue, right? Like those type of churches that had the organs and stuff. Their acoustics was set up almost similar to like how the pyramids were set up to re-energize your energetic body and your aura and everything, and the acoustics of it, right? So, like you were saying, when it was at the, and I didn't know what the number was. You're saying the number was 432. When you went to
Yep.
church, you literally, when you sat there in the worship service and stuff like that,
Okay.
your body literally like re-energized itself. It was, they said, equivalent to going into the pyramids that they have blocked off that you can't go into,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
coming
That's
back out literally a new person, which is where the transformation of man in the Bible comes from.
Yes.
But they changed it
right.
on purpose so that people would die.
100%, y'all. And I told y'all how, like, I went through the whole stroke thing and I couldn't move my right hand, couldn't like speak straight, couldn't like move my shoulder. And I did some light and sound therapy. And now I can do that. I can do it. So
That's
like,
amazing.
I truly, truly believe in the power of sound to heal. Like it's no joke.
And that's what the shofar was too.
Far?
The ram's
It's a
horn, the
show?
shofar.
What's that?
So the shofar is a ram's horn, and what they used to do is they would blow it in Israel, and it also had certain tones that were supposed to revitalize your energetic body.
Mm.
So for people who, let's say you were super sensitive, and you can kind of see people's auras, it
Yep.
would revitalize that and kind of reset it. Like reset, it's almost like restarting your computer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what the shofar in Israel was for. I don't know if they still using stuff like that, but it was tuned to whatever you're saying the vibration was supposed to be. Is 432 you said?
Yes. Let me see.
And
Mm-hmm.
then I know Kanye West took us on a stroll about how bad 808 is for your energetic body.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, did we lose cousin?
Well,
Press the wrong button. My
No
bad.
worries.
I
He's back.
meant to press. Let me share again. Sorry about that.
Go. Here, babe, come this way.
well, I was gonna cut over.
Gotcha.
Bring that back.
Oh, remind me.
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna make it bigger. Pause.
It'll be coming along.
I'm coming in lawless, right?
So here we go. It says 432 frequency is more than just a harmonic pitch. It's a tool that helps reduce stress, promote relaxation, expand consciousness, and create a deeper connection to nature and the universe. And coincidentally, it also adds up to 9.
Okay, cousin, I'm gonna tell you, you need a microscope to read that. Not even a
Oh
magnifying
dang!
glass,
Okay, let me see.
but a
It's because
microscope.
this monitor I'm using has like ridiculous resolution. Okay, let me see. Okay, there we go.
That was a shot at my lack of a monitor, y'all. You see how cousin Ruby trying to get me? That's because I talk about his bad pizza in Detroit.
Yeah, you can't talk about Detroit pizza. Now. Come on now.
Roddy Rick.
Oh, yep, we see it now, cousin. We see it.
And then what was that? How do you spell? Oh, okay.
The shofar, I think it's SHO. Yep, FAR instrument. There you go. Some ram's horn, and it's like brr, brr,
Interesting.
and like the notes and the
Mm,
harp. Right when
yep.
God sent an evil spirit on Saul, he was the first king of Israel, and God sent an evil spirit to disturb him. So when they say that God don't do evil, the Bible tell you all times when God Himself tell you He did evil. He sent an evil spirit onto Saul, and the only thing that would quench that evil spirit is David playing the harp because of the frequency the harp is played. Bye, let freedom ring. Keep stacking, keep stacking. But yeah, the frequency of the shofar and the physics of it.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look this up now.
Yes. And look up the harp too, because like who knows how to play the harp in 2024? Certainly not I, said the cat. And we're talking about frequency and stuff. We're not coming away from Bitcoin because Bitcoin has its own frequency. It's just not a
Yep.
musical instrument, right? So
Yep.
we want to understand that everything that's alive has a frequency, and things that are dead typically don't. I think the lowest thing in frequency is cancer, right? That has like the lowest frequency documented. I thought I heard. Is it candida or is it cancer?
I am not sure, but I think too, like these
Candida.
names, like I think these names have a lot to do with frequency too, which is why they add up to what they add up to.
Add up to.
Uh, and you see, like I was putting in Hove, Jay-Z, how he goes by Hove, so that's another one.
Because you have to remember rooted in God and has nothing to do with Jay-Z. Let me make that very clear.
Yep,
That man's
yep.
name is Sean with W. So
uh,
I'm gonna take that out right now. Jim Cramer. This your dude, Simon Jim Cramer. It adds up to 9. Do
and
Aaron
then his
Simon. Let me see.
show, Mad Money,
Mad money, mad money.
if I can spell.
Oh, okay. Do Aaron Simon. Let me see. Let me see if my husband gave me a name that's worthy. Oh, as of today. And that one does 10. I did not get a name that was worthy, Mr. Simon.
What's your middle initial?
And
Maybe
let's try to end. Let's see.
we
And
can
that's
make it. We
actually
can
my
make it work.
trademark name. So it's Aaron N. Simon. Yeah, that's the name that my husband did pay for. Still not 9.
We try.
I had to change my last name, y'all.
don't don't tell Gordon that.
I'm just joking. You know what's funny, Rue, is that I've been Simon way longer than I've ever been my maiden name. That's nuts. And I'm only 43, so that's a long time.
Right. Well, it's done you pretty well so far, right?
It's working out.
It's-
It was gonna work, baby.
So, trying to remember all the ones we were looking at. Lumens. There's another one like 7-Eleven that gets kind of interesting. Um,
Like the
and just spelling 11. So 11 just so I know a lot of people refer to themselves as 11s, and this might be why because it's also immutable
but that's
if you spell out
world
11.
things though.
Yep, yep. Because 11, and then they call her L too, and L's
Yeah, they call
God.
her L, which is God. Yep.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
13 as well. I know a lot of people say that's unlucky, but it's also immutable.
But it's not unlucky. And the reason why they turned it into that is because originally God uses a lunar calendar, right?
Yep,
And that lunar
yep.
calendar gives us 13 perfect months.
Yeah.
None of this moving and shaking, and this is 30 and this is 31. And you got to teach the kids this cute little nursery rhyme so they know what months are 30 and stuff like that. And they, again, wildly demonic, they wanted to pull us away from that timekeeping.
Yes.
So they made 13 unlucky based on God's lunar calendar. It has nothing to do with bad luck.
Yeah,
But at
I
the time,
agree.
the people were like uneducated,
Yeah.
right? So they just, oh, this isn't lucky at all. And as a matter of fact, you only want 12 months. You don't want 13 months. And we're going to do this and do that. And every couple of years, we're going to add this and take away that.
If you count like also too like the 12 disciples plus Jesus, that's 13.
13. But if you think about it, right, when Judas died, they replaced him with Paul in a sense. So he would be 13. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So 13 is actually a very divine number in a sense, and wildly demonic. They just want to pull you away from some of the things that go along with it.
Yeah, y'all know y'all listen to Burler Panic.
You know, he passed away, right? And they took his
Yeah,
page down.
they did.
Yes, all of those trillion hours of lectures
Yeah,
gone.
I was salty, man. I was salty.
Somebody
Wow.
reported the page.
Yeah, I was salty.
Did
I
his
said,
wife take it down, or did
That's what
YouTube?
everybody's asking, and we don't know. But when I went, it looked like somebody reported it. But maybe she took it down. Maybe she didn't want.
yeah, man, he had videos on
But
top of
maybe she
videos.
took it down and cataloged it onto a site for like a pay. You got to pay for access. I don't know because I don't
Yeah.
go on that site. We just went on YouTube, and that was that.
Wow.
And we're not even sure when he really passed away.
Yeah, it's weird. It was
Like she
weird.
pulled the MF Doom on us.
Yeah, it was in. We didn't really understand what happened, and so
Yeah, because when she told us his picture was already up and everything like that, and somebody said that he passed away like a whole month before that, but was asked not to say anything. So I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, but you know they dabble in a
yeah,
lot of different spirits. So
because
I don't get involved in that.
his last live I watched one, I thought it was weird. It was only an hour.
Instead of 9.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. So I said I watched this real quick, and then he was on there talking about I'm not gonna keep coming on here and giving y'all all these jewels and
He
stuff
was
like
on
that.
his old man crotchety mode.
But maybe he knew something. We
But
ain't
yeah,
know.
maybe he knew
He
something.
was like, oh, okay. But yeah,
Wow.
his whole page down, man. I was
So
like,
we don't
Because I
have all
wanted to watch a lot more of his catalog. I'm sad that it's all gone now.
well,
I
let
hope
me
she puts it on a paid site or something because I definitely pay to see it. But
Yeah, they have their site. I don't know, cousin. Maybe I'll have to email it to you if you don't have it.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Oh, how about I put Bruh Panic before I get all of this foolishness? Let me see if they. We have his final message from Quantum, but it's other people posting it. So you can get Panic's catalog from like the other people, but not from his site. Like you couldn't go right to his site. These are, you know, what I'm talking about like
Yeah.
what was his name? Masterly Foolish and
yeah.
all of them, but not from him. Nope, Ace's Temple. These are other people posting Panic's. Yeah, these are other. You can't access his actual site anymore. So, unfortunately. All right, cousins. Did you want to share anything else about debt and death and Bitcoin thriving, almost being omnipotent as far as money goes?
Well, I think it's interesting that we have like the Federal Reserve, and the moment they print money, it's just debt on it when it's not even you can't even redeem it for nothing. That's just that's just crazy.
I also wanted to share the Creature of Jekyll Island with the cousins.
Oh, please do. You want to pull it up? See if I can pull it up.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on Amazon, but I just wanted because some of the cousins they take notes and stuff.
Yeah,
You
they
definitely
should
want to
be
read the
Uh-huh.
Creature of Jekyll Island family.
very interesting.
They're going to talk about the creation of the monetary system that we are familiar with to into
Sorry.
why. Did you break it? Yeah, there it is. That fourth one.
Okay.
I thought that was what's the little things the boys be shooting?
Oh man,
That's
that's
what I
good.
thought that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys can go on Amazon and grab it. I think too, if you just put the Creature of Jekyll Island PDF, you might be able to cop a free one. I don't like doing that to authors, but people whose budgets are super duper tight. Let me see. Yeah, they have certain like where you can grab the free PDF and stuff like that. If you can buy it, cousins. Don't be cheap. We authors, we be needing our pennies. And they even have a PDF activity workbook. I've never seen that before. Help your children retain what they learned about inflation, savings. Just because it says children doesn't mean that we as adults couldn't benefit from the workbook. They did like a kiddie version. That's pretty fly.
Mm-hmm.
Cousin Rue, I don't
Apparently,
know
I
if
have it
you've
on
seen that.
Audible.
Yeah, they have a cute little one for kids, the Tuttle twins in The Creature from Jekyll Island, teaching them about inflation, savings, barter money. I would like to see how they water that down, though. I would be curious to see how for the children getting it.
Interesting.
No chaser,
Mm-hmm.
straight no chaser. So y'all write
Right.
that down in your notebooks. Definitely spend time reading it so you can understand how we got here and why we're here. And
Mm-hmm.
this is long before the money was taken off the standard.
Yes. Most
Right? So it's
definitely.
taking you on this history ride all the way from the beginning, in a sense. Now, there is an aspect to it that they don't share that I want to share with you guys. And that is when we went into Reconstruction. So this is post slavery era. You have to remember that Black people were the skilled laborers. We were the masons, we were the bricklayers, we were the engravers, we were the skilled labor. We knew how to do everything. You sent us to the store, right? We were running the store. We knew how to price things, set the inventory, and stuff like that. So in post Reconstruction, what was happening when we were segregated from white people's towns and stuff, Black people who were running businesses, getting paid now, were operating at a profit because the dollar was tethered to gold. And gold accounted for every single dollar in the economy,
Mm-hmm.
which means that they were able to save at a profit. They didn't have to take loans out in order to buy a new cart, in order to enlarge their store, in order to do whatever it was they wanted to do for their businesses. It wasn't necessary for them to take out a loan because when they saved the money compounded
Mm-hmm.
because it was backed 100% by gold. The white people, however, they were outsourcing all of their work. So the money wasn't moving in their economy like it was moving in the Black economies. And this is the beginning of where white people were keeping an eye on these Black cities are thriving and we're having issues with that,
Yeah.
right? Because we have to outsource all of our, it's a weird trifling dilemma in itself, right?
Yeah.
We're outsourcing all of our labor to Black labor. Their communities are thriving and our money isn't, what's the word? The
Circulating.
money isn't circulating in our economy the way we want it to. That's one. Two, bankers couldn't make any money. Now, the white people were taking out loans, they needed to,
Mm-hmm.
but they couldn't figure out how they could tap into Black profits at black banks, which
Mm-hmm.
were obviously oversaw by white
Yeah.
people. However, that is where the Creature of Jekyll Island really comes in. They don't tell that part of the story, but it's a very significant story you need to that book. Is that in post Reconstruction, we were operating in a significant credit and we didn't need the loans. We weren't operating in debt. Our economy wasn't operating in debt. The money volition was hundreds and hundreds of times. Is the opposite of what we have today. The money was circulating in those communities because they could only shop in those communities. You can only shop at a Black store.
You see communities like Tulsa.
Right.
Rosewood,
So white money was traveling into Black communities and then circulating so many times because that money couldn't enter back into a white community.
Lord.
Segregation wouldn't allow it. And it's a point of view, a perspective that this book lacks, but that you should have to make it comprehensive and holistic for your learning. I be trying to tell y'all, Simon and I, we're a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, they painted themselves in a corner on that one because
all you do is read and
you
study.
know, if they get all the money and it's circulating, then but you done made a rule that they can't come to your communities,
you boxed yourself in. And that's where all of the bombing and the lynching, that's like how all of that started. Because they were mad that they set this rule in place to constrain it and then couldn't pull it back. They didn't know how to pull it back. So. And then that's when the Creature of Jekyll Island, they realized they could tap into it. And another one thing that you really need to pay attention to, and we read it in the article we read today, was that their plan was when economies collapse, when economies fail, when you start to suffer from economic winters, they're going to blame it on all of these different areas. And back then, the people were gullible. They believed that they were being told the truth by their politicians. They believed that they were being told the truth by their bankers. And we know that they some goddamn liars. We know that today. So, and even that article told you, like, when they tell you these things, understand that it is the Cantillionaire effect that is probably the lion's share of the cause of the decline of the dollar, hyperinflation, superinflation.
Yeah, they did it to themselves.
But lastly, a dilemma that we had never faced before, which is the offloading and the refusal of payment settlements in dollars. We've never had that before. So this is now uncharted waters.
Yeah,
those dollars, we created those dollars for them to have access to them in all of these different economies and all of these different geographical areas, far, far away, where they wouldn't normally have easy access to the dollar. And now all of those dollars are floating back across the ocean, back to U.S. shores, worthless and not operating in anyone's economy.
Worthless with the Bitcoin.
So we want to put all of these little dots together, kind of like, y'all ever watch those detective movies where there's like a serial killer and he's got his little cork board and he's putting all of these things together to kind of find the serial killer, the string, the little string theory thing. That's what we have to do when we're looking at all of the effects of hyperinflation and just understand how that affects our economy. Yes, we want to be stacking our sats, but we also need to understand how these things affect our day-to-day, living, our quality of living.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. You really ran this one down. This is a good one.
Well, the student had student did good. Y'all, that means I got an A on my test.
You ran that one down. You didn't even need me. I just sit over here and relax and maybe I learned something.
You thought.
I don't know, because you be forgetting stuff like.
Rule, pray for me. You see what I got to deal with?
I love it. I love it. Y'all can make each other stronger. That's good. That's good. I love it.
I taught you that? That's what
Yes, you taught me that. Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to remind a teacher.
I heard that. Yeah, especially on the verse.
Yeah. I don't remember that. That's dope.
All right, y'all. We way over.
Yeah.
It's out in 57. I love when my cousin Rue joins us. He does the metaphysics. We definitely want you guys to catch our Rue show so that you can also. Now, this is your conspiracy show, though, right? Where you do the numbers.
Man, I haven't done a conspiracy show in so long, y'all. I don't know. I gotta really get into doing that, man.
But still, tell them about the show that you have typically, cousin, so that they can find.
Okay, let me see if I can pull it up right quick.
Please. We need to start looking for some conspiracies, and then maybe we could do like a mashup, like a Marvel DC mashup.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be real nice.
Stuff. It's like, oh Lord, recruited Aaron.
Yeah, y'all, like us and your son, we could all do a show. That'd be nice. But these are the four,
so that they can see it.
Oh, okay. I keep forgetting that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got 40-year-old eyes in this room. A little
You're
bit
the
more.
only one.
There we go. That's perfect.
So this is the best one here. Money is sacrifice, and I did this with a couple of conspiracy guys I know. Really, really, really good show here. This is just the audio of it, but on my Patreon I have like the video. and the video is also on Rockfin. But it's a really good show. We go breaking down like the Templars into the actual symbols on money to like the heart chakra and how it's green. Like there's just so much about the history of money here. It's like crazy. So definitely check this out if you guys have some time. I think this is a really good episode. Um, and yeah, like all of them if you have some time. But I definitely need to get back into like doing these shows. I had a whole like freaking logo made, and I just haven't had any time recently to do anything.
Is that the Kabbalah or no?
Well,
Kind of.
I just wanted something that had like a six vibe to it.
Hmm.
So I had something that was like, okay, not only does it have like the polygon, but the triangle and the circle to it. So I was kind of making my own sigil,
Gotcha.
if you will, but nothing bad, something positive.
I'll tell you if it's bad, because no worry. I'll be in my little Bible. I'll tell you if it's bad. Just don't use
Appreciate
the
it.
star run fan, please. David never had a star. It's the star run fan. Y'all don't be using
Right?
that.
You saying a lot. You saying I agree with you. I agree with you, but like a lot of people wouldn't.
And then what about your regular show, cousin?
And then definitely, guys, if you can catch me, my regular show on like Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's been a little bit inconsistent lately because I have my kids for the summer, and I was trying to work out that
Oh,
situation.
I
But
can be on the show with you. Like we be having Tino just
Yeah.
walking around aimlessly. They don't mind. Cousins don't mind.
yeah, yeah, but they teenagers now. They don't now they're
Oh, they're
not even
Tina. They're
concerned.
older. Yeah, no, they
Yeah,
ain't.
they're
You can be a
Moonlight's
show.
15. Moonlight's 15, and Issa, my son, is 14. So they're not even concerned about daddy.
We got that. We got them ages. We got the 13 and 16-year-old. But Reggie does do stuff with us. And then Sean be happy to hop on the show with you any day, cousin Rue. He be waiting too. Like we doing the show? No, not yet. We got to find a conspiracy first.
I know.
We got to go look for one. We should call up Alex Jones. Like, what you got?
Right?
Just pick a card, any card. Give us that, and we're gonna run with that. But we appreciate you so much for hopping on last minute, cousin. Your insight is always extremely valuable to
Yes, sir.
Simon Family Investment Ventures, especially on a metaphysical level. We appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
Um, Other cousins, we will see you guys on Wednesday. Do we have a show?
Yeah, that was the show.
Boy, that yeah was real shaky. You hear that, cousin? Yeah, we had a show.
Something.
We'll come up with something in time.
I always got a show.
But we do want to do a bit more with you guys about money supply. Just hoping you guys understand that, and when money supply, which isn't accurate at this point because they're lying about it,
Yeah, we gotta
and
check them out.
two, and hyperinflation. And that way you can really appreciate the deflationary value of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want these to be buzzwords. We want you guys to have the comprehensive understanding on what all of these things mean.
Hyperinflation being one of them. That's a buzzword they throw around
Yeah.
because there's an actual definition to it, and I think it's 50% inflation month over month, which would be terrible if somebody had that kind of inflation
It be
going
feeling
on.
like that though.
But yeah, so
It feels like
we
that.
don't really want to hit
No,
hyperinflation
we
because we'd be
don't.
like, oh goodness.
But we also want to understand what that means then, that Bitcoin is a deflationary instrument. We
Oh
want
yeah.
to understand those terms. So we'll definitely do a bit more of this, and we're kind of building. We are kind of doing this homeschool style. I think it's a good idea, so that the cousins who need just a little bit more 101, a little bit 202, can kind of get that background, and it really adds value to what you're doing when you're dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin.
Yes, it does.
And precious metals.
I agree.
Can't speak for the altcoins, right? Because they're different. They're not falling under this category of sound money, which is one of the reasons why we don't talk about the altcoins. That's not our show.
That's a little bit too much.
But we have contact cousins who do go into altcoins and the technicals and stuff like that. But we're really more about Bitcoin as a deflationary tool, as a store of value, especially when it comes to your purchasing power. But your understanding overall, a comprehensive understanding of your current monetary policies, previous monetary policies, the monetary institution on a whole. Right? This is why we're taking you back to the Creature of Jekyll Island, so that you can have the history to see where it is that we're going in the future. So this is more like a little college setup, but it's good for y'all brains. Y'all gonna create new neural pathways, and we're gonna be here to help you create those pathways. We love you, cousins. Cousin Ruth, stay on just for a minute.
Okay.
And we're gonna catch you guys on Wednesday. Y'all have a great night. Mamba out.